Tonight, Broken Hill teachers go on strike over salaries, staff shortages and workloads. And works begin on multi-million-dollar infrastructure upgrades at Fisherman Bay.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. Broken Hill's public school teachers have walked off the job today, part of a statewide strike over workloads, salaries and staff shortages. The department branding today's action as illegal, saying it'll only disrupt learning further in a year already impacted by lockdowns.
In the shadow of the trades hall, local teachers call for change. Educators in every corner of the state calling out the government for what they say is stagnant and uncompetitive salaries, excessive workloads and a statewide teacher shortage.
The complexity and intensification of the work has increased so much that people are leaving in droves.
Williama Principal Grant Shepherd outside Parliament saying his school has 5 unfilled vacancies for next year, including a specialist teacher.
We're up to the 4th head. There's been a $20,000 recruitment bonus offered twice, additional, still not filled.
The Education Department saying today's action was found to be illegal by the Industrial Relations Commission, branding the strikes as a waste of time for teachers and students. While Education Minister Sarah Mitchell says the union failed to recognise the critical importance of having students in class after a challenging year and has refused to engage in negotiations.
Minister attacks striking teachers. I put it to you, and an attack on any teacher is an attack on the whole profession.
With today's strike came a warning there could be more to come. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A 74-year-old man has been reported after allegedly acting as a Justice of the Peace in Port Augusta. Police received information last month from a member of the public about the man. It's alleged he had been a Justice of the Peace previously, but his status was terminated in December 2015. The man was charged with numerous counts of dishonestly dealing with documents when not authorised. He will be summoned to appear in court at a later date. Firearm owners across the Spencer Gulf can now keep their licence on their smartphones. From today, licences can be added on the MySA.gov app, just like with driver's licences and proof of age cards. Owners can view their valid individual, dealer or collector licences under the same account. Licences can be validated by another user by scanning the barcode. For more information, visit SAPOL's website. Fisherman Bay is expected to look very different within the new year as works begin on the multi-million-dollar upgrade. The community will receive a new wastewater and stormwater system, sealed roads and coastal protection, set to create an economic boom for the town.
It's been in the planning for years, and now construction has officially begun. Fisherman Bay receiving a $23 million upgrade to install a wastewater and a stormwater system, sealed roads and coastal protection. Locals waiting more than 20 years for these essential works to be done, so landowners can get free titles to build, buy and sell.
People wanted to freehold their titles, so they wanted to own their own piece of land. We've actually commenced work finally, which enables people to get their titles.
There's more than 400 shacks in Fisherman Bay, and now those holiday homes can be transformed into permanent residences once the upgrades are complete.
So originally it was just a place to go on holiday. Eventually people wanted to live there. So for 20 years we've wanted to subdivide this piece of land out there.
The community is set to hit an economic boom with people already coming in waves to purchase land, and there's already a long waiting list.
We've had some economic analysis. This means $25 million worth of benefits for our region, which is going to be huge.
More than 80 contractors will descend on Fisherman Bay, promising a financial boost for local businesses. Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
New life has been given to the Big Swamp Community Centre after receiving a range of grants this year. The council funding going towards developing new infrastructure for the use of the wider community.
The Big Swamp Community Centre doing big things for its township, with the latest round of grants expanding its operations.
Most of the money has come from the local council. They give us about half of what's required to do the job, and we make it stretch by sourcing materials cheaply.
The community centre going far beyond the work of its basins.
For the support that we've had with grants, we can now actually start developing a community centre that people can hire out and access for groups. It's also, hopefully, will become a really good place for bushfire refuge.
The grants have gone towards upgrading storage and toilet facilities, with the improvements aiming to allow for more community events.
We got a second grant, which was for the toilet block, and we were given a grant which we're very, very grateful for, and managed to complete that project in record time.
The centre also making drastic upgrades to its historical church in hopes to one day perform weddings at its facility.
So there's a lot of work that's gone into the masonry, the roof has been replaced, there's a lot of work with all the footings around the church that has to continue.
The latest grant of $4,800 will be used towards upgrading solar panel storage. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, Cummins Town Hall transforms into a Christmas wonderland, while the RSPCA warns residents to rethink gifting a furry friend for Christmas. Welcome back. More people are reaching out to our region's food bank to help provide for their families during the Christmas period. With the charity's workload expected to increase in the coming days, members are calling for much-needed donations from the community.
Making sure nobody goes hungry this Christmas. Food insecurity affects 15% of the Australian population. A harsh reality many have come to know during this pandemic-affected year, with some still unable to find secure work as we approach Christmas.
I think Christmas creates a lot more stress really for everyone, but in particular those who are doing it tough financially.
Foodbank says 135,000 South Australians will seek food relief this December, 1/3 of those children. Many expected to be referred to the charity's Food Hub supermarket program, where they can gather the essentials at a fraction of the cost.
The prices we charge are just things like handling fees. Lots of things are actually free, so you've got your free fruit, veg, bread, plus items on another shelf that's all for free.
But with the increased demand, Foodbank is asking for community donations of canned food, biscuits and dried pasta to stock their warehouse further.
When people come in, even into our food hub and walk out with a trolley full of food that's cost them next to nothing, they're absolutely beside themselves. They can't believe the generosity of the public.
Foodbank services are available to people in the Spencer Gulf to help make this period a little easier. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, Cummins' annual Christmas Wonderland has once again opened its doors to the community. This year's festive space offering a range of new exhibits, aiming to encourage locals to get into the Christmas spirit.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas for the town of Cummins. This year's Christmas Wonderland on full display in the town hall.
We've been doing this now for 13 years, and it was an idea that a couple of girls had. They called a meeting and some people attended, and we've been hooked on the idea ever since.
A Christmas tradition in Cummins encouraging people of all ages to get into the festive spirit. Its exhibition forever changing.
It was getting better all the time. We provide different atmosphere, different displays, different items, different activities for the children to do every year.
The Wonderland's chairperson saying the event wouldn't be possible without the help of the community.
So we have 10 people on our committee and we recruit lots of professional people in the district, the men's shed.
However, things weren't always this jolly. With the closing of the rail, the event had to relocate to across the road.
We had a situation where when the railway line closed, the trucks became more dense on the road, and it was a frightening experience to be on that corner with children and elderly people.
The event also encouraging people to get down to this year's Christmas pageant on Friday. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
But with local kennels already under stress, the RSPCA is asking the community to think twice before giving a pet as a gift this Christmas. Many unwanted animals are often surrendered in early January, so families are encouraged to research and talk openly about the reality of pet ownership.
Pets are often at the top of the Christmas wish list, but is that really what is best for the animal?
They're living, breathing, sentient creatures, and so they should never be a surprise gift. If you're going to be bringing an animal into the household or introducing the animal into the family, that animal is for life.
The last 2 pandemic-affected years seeing more people take on and subsequently abandon pets across the state, according to the RSPCA. Often coming as people adopt without considering the underlying costs, vet bills and levels of attention pets need. The South Australian branch fearing levels of abandonment may surge even higher in December, with the gifting of furry friends as Christmas presents.
So then they might be ending up surrendering that animal to a shelter like the RSPCA, and then that animal needs to find a new home. That's not ideal.
Also saying the concept of giving a pet as a surprise gift, while fun at the time, can lead to prolonged stress for the recipient later down the line. So it is important to consider what the recipient wants, their lifestyle, home environment, and whether they have the means to care for it long term.
You really do need to be thinking, do I have a lifestyle that is compatible with what an animal needs in terms of having a good, healthy and happy life?
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. A community donation adds a much-needed service to a Port Broughton aged care home. And we sit down with a member for Giles to reflect on 2021. Hello again. For the first time ever, the Real Estate Institute of New South Wales has stopped off in Broken Hill for its annual roadshow. The seminar keeping agents up to date on new regulations and technology at a time when regional house costs are soaring as a side effect of the pandemic.
A lot of us, at least, can work from home very, very effectively. So once you've made that realisation that you can work from home, then you're left with the opportunity of saying, well, where do I want home to be?
Organisers say a greater understanding of the local market will help them advocate for any changes which could be made. Residents from Barunga Village are excited to go on more adventures after receiving a new wheelchair-accessible bus. The Freemasons donating money to make activities more inclusive for everyone.
Social outings are about to get a whole lot easier for people using a wheelchair at Barunga Village. The Freemasons generously donating $78,000 to the aged care facility to purchase a wheelchair-accessible bus. All starting when a house member got in touch with the Masonic Charities and proposed the need for more inclusive services.
The money got here very quickly, but the bus, because of imports and no ships running and COVID, it took quite a while to get the bus to us here.
For house member Donnie, it only takes a couple of minutes to get into the van, so he can enjoy a day out with everyone.
They were so excited because, it has just increased the opportunity for people with mobility issues to go out and about in the community like we take for granted.
Others now excited to go on more adventures with each other around the state.
We only talked a couple of days ago about some feedback from where they'd like to go. So there's some lovely areas to travel here, and so it's a really exciting time for us.
The villagers already starting to see the positive impact the bus has had.
And it will make a difference to people here in Barunga, so for that we're very grateful.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Tonight we start our look back on the year that was, beginning in Whyalla. 2021 started off with the collapse of Green Seal Capital and ended with a new aged care operator for the Upper Spencer Gulf. Mark Zeta sat down with member for Giles, Eddie Hughes.
So Eddie, how was 2021 for you this year?
2021 has been another interesting year with COVID, but there have been some real pluses in Whyalla. We're about to see the completion of the brand new secondary college, state-of-the-art school, so that's going to be fantastic. And there's a lot of excited students. Can't wait to move in next year, so that's a real plus. And of course, iron ore prices have been high. The steelworks has been ramping out the steel, so that's all a positive. Notwithstanding, we're still going to need major investment at some point in in the steelworks. So they're pluses in our community. And I think, this year has been pretty good.
You must be pleased that a restructuring deal was eventually settled for GFG Alliance after the collapse of Greensill Capital, but you think more investment should be needed?
I'm told that there is going to be some capital investment next year, but the shape and the size of that, I don't know at this stage. But I know a lot of people that work down at the steelworks. I used to work there myself. We know that it's an old plan and it needs a lot of work. So it's a real credit to the workforce that they're doing what they are doing with getting out the steel tonnage with what is essentially an old plant. So I take my hat off to the people that work there.
And now with a new operator coming in to operate Whyala's aged care facilities, it must be good news as well to have some stability in our region.
Well, that's been one of the really concerning things this year, what has happened with aged care. And I've said consistently, in a city the size of Whyalla, nobody in need of a nursing home bed should have to go hundreds of kilometres. And we need to ensure that we have the capital injection and the strategy in place to ensure that we get nursing staff and carers and others, so that Whyalla people do not have to go to other communities for a nursing home bed.
Thanks very much for your time, Eddie, today.
Anytime, Mark, and happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to all the constituents of Giles.
Stay with us after the break. Lachlan Isher will bring you the scores from local weekend sport, and we'll have all the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. It's officially summer and local sport competitions continue to heat up with some tight contests and major upsets in games across our region. Here's Lachlan Isher with the year's final weekend sport wrap.
Despite changing border rules, Broken Hill's basketball young guns did us proud in Port Pirie over the weekend. But we start this week's sport wrap with a look around the grounds at the A-grade men's competition. In Port Lincoln, it was a tight contest between the ladder leaders. Dan Blacker, the top scorer with 7 points for the Rangers, but it didn't stop Souths from coming away with a narrow victory. No major point scorers in the round's other game, but teamwork made the dream work for Tasmans, opening up a 12-point win over Breakers. Last night's games in Whyalla were all easy wins on paper. Wildcats lost to the Demons but did come away with a win against Braves. Roos claimed a 21-point victory over Titans. The Eagles and Titans have been breathing down each other's necks atop the Port Augusta ladder. Last week the two sides couldn't be separated, tying on 49 points a pop. The Wildcats proved too strong for Cobras in the round's other game. Predictable outcomes in Port Pirie with the ladder leaders winning both games. Pacers Green did put up a strong fight against Globetrotters, coming within 5 points of a win. We'll stay in Port Pirie for women's softball. It looked like a tight game between Tigers and Checkmates, but the latter was scoreless until the third innings. A strong comeback, but Tigers won by a single run. Cougars also had a bit of a slow start, finding their stride in the fourth innings, but again unable to recover their losses. And in Whyalla, a round of upsets with the top two beaten by the bottom two, and not by inconsiderable margins. The Indians came out firing with a 12-run win over the leading Top Cats. Now that is our final sport wrap for the year. A good New Year's resolution would be to get your league scores included in our bulletin. It's as simple as sending us a message through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. It was a mainly fine day across the region today, with the sun hiding behind some clouds in most centres. Similar conditions forecast throughout the week, but it's heating up over the weekend. From 3 p.m. today, Port Augusta was 23, Port Lincoln was cloudy and 20, and Broken Hill was sunny and 27. Looking further out across the region now, Whyalla was 21, Port Pirie and Woodner were both 23, Adelaide was 20, Kadina, Cleve and Clare were all 19 degrees, and Cooper Pedy was sunny and 27. Taking a look at the satellite image now, lingering cloud about coastal South Australia with a nearby trough only leading to the odd shower. Patchy cloud developing across the northwest with another trough may bring some thundery showers later. Clear elsewhere under a dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre. Partly cloudy in the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow. Port Lincoln will reach 19, Cleve is set to reach a high of 18, and Woodner will get to a top of 24 degrees. While it will be partly cloudy in 21, Port Augusta and Kadina both set to reach a high of 22 degrees. Port Pirie will be 24, Clare 19, and at Broken Hill sunny with a top of 23 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, sunny in Port Augusta, Port Pirie, Cooper Pedy and Broken Hill on Thursday. Cloud clearing in Woodner with 25 degrees. Port Lincoln will reach 19, mostly sunny in Whyalla 22. Sunny conditions across most of the region on Friday, 27 in Port Pirie and Broken Hill, Woodner and Cooper Pedy to reach 30, Port Pirie will be partly cloudy and 21. A look at the beginning of your weekend now, and it's warming up across the Spencer Gulf. Woodner with a top of 35 on Saturday, Kadina, Adelaide and Broken Hill all will reach 30 degrees. Safe to say summer is well and truly here, Ruby. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Alex. And that's all local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.